Hey guys, back again. Let's talk about Gerald's Game, the newest Stephen King adapted novel into film that was released on Netflix, I guess, a couple days ago. I just watched it today, and I've not read the book Gerald's Game, but I thought that this movie was really, really good. I thought that in terms of the cast, which consists of three people, they really, really sold it, and the characters I thought were really interesting and well, even for a movie, they were well written, and I think that they really probably took from the book and how detailed Stephen King is, and probably used that in the movie. But I thought that these characters were written so well in this movie, and I thought that the plot is basically just in in one area the whole movie, and I really loved how it's one of those movies where it stays in one area and it's a slow burn, but it works really, really well. The story just consists of a character named Jesse, played by Carla Guino, and Gerald, played by Bruce Greenwood, and they are a couple going to a remote cabin or house and are trying to spice things up in their sex life. And he cuffs her to the bed, and immediately after that, he dies, and she is stuck cuffed to the bed. And I have never seen a movie like this or an idea like this where this character is cuffed to a bed, and I thought that this was really, really well done in that fact, in which this is basically the whole movie is just her handcuffed to a bed. And I love that it was so interesting, and it was just that thing. It was just about her there, because it's so interesting how she's cuffed up, but then you also see her going crazy, and she is being delusional, where she is seeing her dead husband and herself, and kind of doing like an angel devil thing, where like they're both telling her different things to do, and it's showing with the only things that she has closest to her in reach of her cuffed hands she can use to try to help herself out. And I thought that the story is just that. That's pretty much it. There's a couple other things that I don't want to mention here. I'm going to keep it spoiler free, but I thought that that was so interesting. You could keep that as just that part of the story and nothing else, and it really was so interesting despite being just her cuffed to the bed and trying to figure out how to escape. And I just really loved how there's so many stakes to that, even though that's the only thing that's happening. Like, she gets really thirsty, gets really hungry, becomes delusional. There's a dog out there that she gave meat earlier before she was tied up. So her dead husband's right there, and the dog's trying to eat the dead husband. And I thought that it really, really was suspenseful, but only that happened. And I love that. I love when movies do that, where you can have a singular idea, but it can pull that much suspense out of you in just one thing. It doesn't have to be a million different things going on. And I love that. I love how this story did that. And I loved Carla Guino in this movie. I thought that I've seen her in some movies before, but I've never seen her act this good in this movie. She is amazing. It is one of the best performances I've seen all year. Hands down. I thought that she played it perfectly as this tortured person being cuffed to a bed with her, and with her delusions of her and her husband, and how she reacts off of that, and how she reacts on every situation that is going on. And I thought that the whole movie, even the ending, was really moving. It worked so well because of her amazing acting. And like I said, I've seen her in a couple things, but this is the best I've ever seen her, and I think that she really brought it. And I thought that she brought so much emotion and so much tension and scares in this movie. Or, I guess suspense is more of the word you could say. But I also love, too, that this movie is a slow burn, but it has moments of very violent things. And I'm not going to say what they are, but whenever it happens, it gets you. It got me so bad whenever they had these small little violent moments, and it reminds me kind of a Hitchcock movie. It really does, where you have a slow burn. That's mostly what Hitchcock did. They were very slow burns. They had small little things happen, little jolts of scariness happen in the movie, but they weren't enough to where it was always scary. And I love how this, because whenever it's not always scary, you see a moment, whenever a moment scary happens, it is more effective and earned if you have it to where it's not always scary. And I love whenever a movie builds on scares and it's not stupid jump scares. And this has, I guess you could call it a jump scare, but it is amazing. And I'm gonna keep it spoiler free, but I'm gonna say that that one shot through the car mirror, that's all I could say. That was an amazing scare. I thought that really actually flipped me out. Like, I did not expect to see that thing happen in that scene, and I thought that it really was great. And this movie also is directed by Mike Flanagan, who I absolutely love. I think he is one of the best horror directors working today, and I think that a lot of people give him shit because he is a very much, in terms of probably mostly Hitchcockian, where he is very slow burn building with his movies. He doesn't do stupid jump scares. He takes his time, and people nowadays do not always love that. And this movie is getting great reviews from critics, and it's getting okay reviews, I guess, from audiences. But I think that this is a fantastic movie, and Mike Flanagan again, because he also did Oculus, which I loved. It was a fantastic horror movie and a fantastic slow burn. And then he did Ouija Origin of Evil, which was also fantastic. And then he did Hush, which was a really good horror movie. I think it's not my favorite out of the three, but it's still a really good horror movie. And it really shows how Mike Flanagan did. Like, I love how he did those movies and he did this one, because this is a horror movie too, but a different type of horror movie. It's not one that relies on the same kind of aspects that the other ones do. It isn't as supernatural as the other ones, but even his supernatural ones he can make subtle, and I love that. He doesn't make them over the top. And I thought that this one, because it is more, before she's handcuffed to the bed, there is a good genuine build-up of how these characters are feeling, and how it honestly, the movie feels like you've got a little bit of something going on, like there's something probably sinister gonna happen. Like, if you did not read the plot to this and didn't know anything about this movie or book, and you started watching this movie, or I'm guessing reading the book at the beginning too, you would not know that this becomes what it becomes as the movie goes along. It doesn't become a horror movie. And I love that. I love when movies can build on something and become a horror movie, but it doesn't ruin the tone. Like, this was so great at building up to the moment that she puts the cuffs on. But it feels like there is something weird going on. Like, the way the husband acts before this happens. And I really loved, again, how he is really an old school director, and I think that is great, because nowadays we don't have that much. There are some good horror movies out there, but this one, like his other movies, really stand out because they're not the typical stupid jump scares or horror movies that are just cheap and lazy. And this one takes its time, and it's so well written, and the characters are so interesting, and Carla Guino is amazing. That's how you pronounce her name. I can't remember, but she is fantastic. Like I said, one of the best performances of this year. I sincerely believe that, and I think that hopefully she'll get Oscar recognition. I don't know. I can't remember if Netflix movies have even gotten like into categories of film or recognition for the Oscars. I can't remember, but I hope so. I hope this is the one that breaks it, and hopefully this means that they could get recognition for this movie. because I just thought this was really, really good. It's not, I think that there is a moment at the end, which I won't spoil, but there's one thing that did bother me in the movie, and I didn't understand the ending, and I feel dumb in a way. But I've watched other reviews for this movie, and people have said that too, that it was kind of a hard thing to either adapt or hard thing to explain in the movie. So I don't know if it's my fault that I didn't get it, but just the ending. There was one thing that I didn't get. It's just like a line. I didn't understand what this meant, but overall, like, I thought this movie was, based on the performances alone, this was fantastic, and based on the suspense and the build-up and the writing and how Mike Flanagan, again, is a master of horror, and I think this movie should not be overlooked. And Stephen King fans, Stephen King has always been prevalent, but man, there have been so many movies that are being made from him this year, like The Dark Tower, It, and this movie. I love how we've gotten 3 this year. And I bet that's happened in the past, but I think that it's just cool that we're in this moment of Stephen King, like, craziness. But yeah, I thought this movie was so well done, besides, like, one little thing, and I think I'll probably feel dumb whenever I look it up and be like, oh, that makes sense. I just didn't get it personally in that moment in the movie, at the end, but yeah, overall, this movie was really, really good, and I think that it's one that people should definitely watch, and it's one to give Mike Flanagan support, because he's one of my favorite directors working today. And and I'm going to keep this spoiler free too, but there's an actor in this movie. I don't want to say who it is, I just want you to go in blind. But there's a third actor, and he is fantastic. I don't want to say who it is or what the character is, but you'll see. But it's such a great performance. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, overall, Gerald's Game, really, really great movie. Thanks, guys, so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.